Welcome to the Reasonable Southerner podcast. The South isn't all magnolias in the moonlight, but neither is it all racism and violence. We are just like you. My name is Frances Coleman. I share my insights about my life and yours. If the other vehicle had been a Tahoe, I'd be a widow today. Thankfully, though, it was one of Hyundai's compact cars, an Elantra, that slammed into the side of our 13-year-old Volvo sedan. Thus, instead of being dead, my husband was hospitalized with a fractured hip, lacerated spleen, and a lot of broken ribs. I suffered a mild concussion that left me slightly addled for about a month. The teenage driver of the other car was not hurt, and I'm glad for that. But bless his 17-year-old heart, I hope he was at least shaken by the fact that he easily could have killed somebody, or two somebodies for that matter, because he was in a hurry. I don't remember the actual collision. People who are not cold often don't remember the events immediately preceding their being knocked unconscious. My husband did remember. The car rolled over, slid along the pavement upside down, and then slid onto the grass, where dirt and sod shot through the sunroof. He was doused with water as the car came to rest in a ditch full of flowing water. He later said he thought, "Thank God that's water and not gasoline." He lifted my head out of the water, he said. I think I mumbled, "I'm okay," but again, I don't remember. The firemen and paramedics arrived quickly. They diverted the water with a sheet of plywood. I was extracted easily. Because the other car hit on the driver's side, though, they had to cut my husband from the wreckage. They cut the door away, sliced through his seatbelt, and dragged him out of the car onto the mud. He was very proud that he had made sure they saved his cufflinks. However, his fountain pens were gone for good. We survived. Many do not. I'm telling you about our wreck, which was 7 years ago, because AAA reported recently that the number of people killed by drivers running red lights has hit a 10-year high. Police say most of the drivers aren't blowing through signals because they didn't see that the light was changing. Truth is, most of them saw that it was yellow or even already red and made the conscious decision to step on the gas. I know you're late for work, or you're hurrying home after work, or you should have been at the restaurant 10 minutes ago to meet your friends, or you're just impatient. I've been all of those things and more. But for the love of God and everybody else on the road, don't be the person who runs red lights. Don't be the driver who can't spare 2 or 3 minutes to sit at a stoplight. Don't be the one who is so important or whose time is so valuable that he can't afford to wait like the rest of us mere mortals. And please don't be the person who is so oblivious to the laws of physics that it doesn't even occur to her that she's endangering other people as she blasts through a light. The AAA report said 2 Americans are killed every day by drivers who don't stop, and that 28% of crash deaths at intersections with signals happen because a driver ran a red light. I'm glad that we weren't in those fatal stats 7 years ago, and even gladder that on the rainy evening of the wreck, we happened to be driving the Volvo we had purchased used for our daughter when she graduated from high school. The so-called protection cage of steel that encircles Volvo's passenger compartments did its job. These days, if you happen to be in traffic behind my husband or me, be prepared to stop for every yellow light, even if it has barely begun to turn yellow. We're like a couple of zealous reformed drunks. I admit that I was not always so pure. I had been scared straight several years before our wreck, however, when a police officer slapped me with a $200 ticket for shooting through a yellow but starting to turn red light. "Ma'am," he said as he was writing the citation, "you are either going to T-bone somebody or get yourself T-boned, and those are the wrecks that kill people." Maybe it was the fact that he was so earnest, or maybe it was the fact that I had 2 young children at home. Whatever it was, I quit joking that a yellow light means hurry up, and started braking for yellow lights instead of rushing through them. Because a 17-year-old kid chose the accelerator instead of his brakes, my husband was hospitalized twice for a total of nearly 3 weeks, including 1 surgery, and then spent another 2 months in a wheelchair, followed by several weeks more with a walker and then a cane. He's okay now, although, as his orthopedist predicted, his hip aches when the barometric pressure drops. Most important, though, he's not dead. Take it from this reformed, reckless driver. Getting somewhere 2 or 3 minutes faster isn't worth the catastrophe you could cause.
I'm Frances Coleman. I've worked for newspapers for more than 45 years, from Texas to my native Louisiana, and finally to my home near Mobile, Alabama. I've been a reporter, an editorial writer, a columnist, and an editorial page editor. I've commented on the BBC, been a guest on the Rachel Maddow Show, and had my column distributed nationwide. If you like this podcast, please follow it. It's free. And even if you don't like it, I hope you will find it thought-provoking.